I'm so excited to see you guys here. When we first started talking to Chelsea about doing classes maybe a year ago,
Yeah.
right? We're very excited. I think there's a lot of real estate training out there, whether it's Ninja or Buffini and Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Bill Ferry, whatever, you know. But there's a ton, right? Everybody's trying to help you build your business. And over the years, we've done pretty much all of your past real estate. We were a Ninja company for a long time. Great product, right? You know, Tom Ferry, great product. There's a lot of good real estate coaches out there, a lot of good content. But I always kind of felt like it was missing something. You know, like maybe action items, like things you could actually do other than like write your affirmations or door knock, you know, they tell you. So when Jessica kind of brought this up, we got really, really excited, and we're really excited for you guys that you decided to come invest in your business, right? So I just encourage you, while you're here, invest in your business. Some of you all have your laptops out. It's a necessary tool for this class, right? Over the next 5 months. Keep it on topic. Stay off Instagram. That's not going to help you today. Stay off YouTube. It's not going to help you today. Social media is not going to help you today. You're here to invest in yourself, and you do that by being present, right? You all are paid. Most of you, 90% of you, paid for this. You're paying for this. You paid an investment in yourself. So we're really excited about this as a brokerage because my goal, and she doesn't know this yet, is that we're going to run this, and you guys are going to be so successful over the next 5 months that we're going to be able to pull the stats and say, look at the increase in business you achieved by using these action items in the field. Does that make sense? And it's going to make all of us look really good, and your bank account's going to love you, right? So you're going to see an increase. So, you know, I just want to tell you thank you, right? Like, you're a friend of mine, first and foremost, and you're a very valuable agent here. And I've never seen anybody be able to take 11 months off of their business and still produce at a high level. And, you know, be in Bali and still close deals, or wherever you were, right? So I would just encourage you, to really be in the moment, and let's really enjoy the fact that we've got a group of people that have a common goal of getting better.
Yeah.
Right? So let's get better today. Cool?
Hell yeah.
Give it up for Chelsea.
Sweet. Thanks. Yeah, and thanks to all of you. I know a lot of you guys have come to different classes that I've taught over the last couple months, which allowed this to come to fruition. So thank you for your support. I hope it's because you've been learning great things and implementing it into your business. And the next 5 months should be a continuation of that, if not a little bit more of a swift kick in the ass. I think that's what we all signed up for. So anyways, thank you for being here. To get us started, I wanted you to pull up your homework if you have not already, so get to work on that. But I freaking love this quote from Albert Einstein, which is basically the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And so if you're here, it's because you're hoping to have a change in your business, and in order to have a change in your business, you've got to have a change in your activity. You might have to have a change in your attitude. You might have to have a change in the way that you ask for support and the way that you show up every day. And so first of all, I want to congratulate you for having the awareness to know that you need a change, because that's huge. It's really easy to get stuck in the mundane and the over and over and over again, and to kind of get removed from the fact of, wait, why am I doing this? What do I want out of life? What do I want out of my business? So congratulations for recognizing that. Secondly, congratulations for investing money into your business. 67 bowls of Chipotle you have spent to be here, and that will not go away for me. That's a really big deal. That's a lot of Chipotle, so I'm glad that you're here. All right, let's get into it. Little bit of an agenda. We're going to do a very quick icebreaker because I really want you guys to feel and function like a team, because we are. We are all going through this together. I'm learning, you're learning, and ultimately we all want to get better and we have this end result. And so I'm going to try to facilitate ways for us to work together as a team, but for you to still be able to focus on your individual business. We're going to go through the homework just to see what you learned and then immediately jump into using that. So we'll go through the lead sources that you're going to select for your business. We're going to do some math. Love math. I try to make it easy. We're going to break down projects. And then at the end, we'll finish out with the activities. And what I mean by that is the goal of today is that every single one of you walks out of here in a little less than 2 hours, and you know exactly what you need to go do on a weekly basis in your business. Hopefully that's exciting to you. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is the boring part for you. I got a thumbs up in the back. That's good. But I can't tell you how many agents I've met with, and they're like, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do every day. You're going to know really soon what you're supposed to do every day, and then it's up to you to go do it. Okay, so for our little icebreaker, I am going to ask that in 5 seconds, everybody stands up, and I want you to go introduce yourself to somebody that you do not know, or that you do not know well. And I want you to exchange contact information. Cell phone, Instagram, whatever it is, but I want you to get connected with this person that you don't know so that they're no longer a stranger. Ready, go. So a couple things. I hope that you just made contact with somebody that you stay in touch with throughout the program. Maybe now this is somebody that you'll sit next to at the next event, whatever. But the intent is that we're all helping each other and collaborating. Because the reality is I'm up here teaching you, but none of you are going to run your business the exact same way that I run my business. Right? And so it's really helpful to have other agents to bounce things off of that are different than you. It was also super fun to see some of the connections that just got made. Like Melanie and Ann, did you guys not know each other before? You're going to love each other. Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely awesome. The other thing that has warmed my heart is in talking to a couple of people, I have been told that some of you reached out to each other and found an accountability partner in the program. Yeah. If you haven't done that already, I highly recommend. Maybe the person you just introduced yourself to could be your buddy. Speaking of accountability, really quick, while I get into the next section, I noticed that the program tracker was looking a little bleak and was just hoping that if you have not gone on and updated that yet, that you completed your homework, that you're here today, you can check this one off, you did it, you made it. Please do that. Because we're going to be putting these results in front of our faces at the accountability call, and if you've been showing up, I want you to get that public credit that you've been showing up. Okay, so talking about the homework, was this the first time that somebody had ever gone through their business in that way before? Yeah? Okay, cool. Thanks for being honest. Yeah. Did anybody have anything surprising come up? Yeah, I see a scared face, almost like, oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's share. So who wants to share? What is something surprising that somebody saw in their business in doing this activity?
For me personally, I was able to see because I was financially stable, and then there was a moment where I started going down. And then with doing this, I was able to captivate, okay, I did bad investments. That's where my money went.
Yeah, you didn't have a high ROI on those things, right? Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
You need a third leg, for sure.
You need a third leg? Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, everybody that I work with has been referral and sphere, and so I just haven't really found a third thing that I hate open houses. I would love to do events, but I'm weird about mixing groups of people, and of course if they fail, that would be really embarrassing. But that's probably, so I need something because I spend money on ads and things like that, but I don't have any return on those.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number is, but that's my return on them.
Yeah, cool, so really good awareness. So you spent money on something you didn't get a return on, you know that you need an additional layer and an additional pillar in order to build your business, because you might be tapping out your referral base right now. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Meg?
I literally had a heart attack on how much I spend going out to eat. It's personal, but it's also taking people out.
Yeah.
And so I consider it kind of businessy, and I justify it. But I literally went back a month, middle of last month, and I literally sat there in my office
And went,
with my jaw on the floor for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I was because I paid off all my debt except for my mortgage, and I'm woo, I'm a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of money last year, and I just didn't have to pay as much attention, and I was
Yeah.
oh my,
Yeah.
sinful.
Yeah. It's not.
Someone needs to get me under control. It was, I've never been so shocked, literally.
Yeah.
So it's my hobby. That's
Yeah.
the problem, is that's
Yeah.
my only hobby.
Yeah.
I go to immigrant-owned restaurants, and that's my jam.
Yeah.
But oh my God, and I need to stop paying for everybody. That was
Yeah.
a big aha.
Yeah, is that you don't have to, right? You can still go enjoy this thing, but do it in a way that's a little bit cheaper. So what Meg talked about is something that I think a lot of successful business owners go through, is that as soon as you start having a lot of business, you're like, now I don't have to think about money, so I'm not going to. LOL. Why do you work so hard? You want to put it towards stuff that's getting you hopefully to a place of retirement or improving your lifestyle. So thanks for sharing that and being vulnerable, Meg. I think a lot of people go through that. Anybody else have any other ahas that haven't been said already? Ann?
I was kind of the same way as Meg, but with my time. Like, I really have no idea when I had to do how much time I was spending to get these out. I have no idea. So I think I waste time, or I'm just not aware of when I'm doing purchases in the shopping mall too.
Yeah, I got a question from one of the members of like, hey, I run a referral-based business and I'm not quite sure like how to quantify this, right, with my time, which is a tricky thing. And what I recommended is what I've had to do, which is, well, let me look at 1 month as a representation. What are all of the activities that I do to generate referrals and the time I spend on that, and then multiply that roughly by 12. Right? But yeah, definitely. You've got your currency of money and you've got your currency of time, and what we want to figure out is how you can maximize both. Awesome. Any other big, yeah?
I had like a super vulnerable personal thing, but with my personal expenses, I saw how much that my husband is actually providing for me monthly, and it makes me emotional, and it makes me think like, wow, I hope that I can do that for myself, so that he take the load off of him.
Yeah, super sweet. When you take the load off of him. Yeah,
I do.
yeah, absolutely. Love that. Yeah, Jason?
I get about 4 or 5 referrals or deals from a database of 100. So I'm like, okay, that's 4 or 5%,
Yeah.
which isn't very good, right? So it's like, okay, if I'm supposed to make $1,000 per person, not really.
Yeah. So you think you can do more with your database, basically?
Or I'm not working my database.
Enough. Yeah.
Or the right way.
Right way. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah.
So I met with Jared this week. I'm brand spanking new, by the way.
Welcome.
And I'm in this unique situation where I'm trying to buy a house down south. So I was talking to Jared about where would be a good farm area for me based on where I want to live and the things I like to do, so where I'm hanging out. And he gave me great advice for a farming neighborhood that literally would cut how many deals I have to do in half, just based on the turnover rate and then other dominant agents in the area. And so I felt like just in an hour meeting with the title guy, the Mile High title guy, he's gonna cut my work in half and make me twice as much money. So that was really helpful to go with this project.
Yeah. So as a new agent, you're trying to get your bearings, right? Which is, what do I even go do? How do I start eating this elephant, right? One bite at a time, and you got some good tips. I'll show you some conversion rates in a bit too, so that you can see how you think you'll end up doing in that farm, and just to have realistic numbers. Did anybody have anything specific that they realized that they've spent a ton of time or a ton of money on and they did not get results, and you're ready to nix it?
Wow, I'm ready to mix it 'cause I enjoy open houses.
Open houses.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Yep.
been working them for 2 years, and I have one person who's gonna close maybe in February, right? February or March, but I haven't gotten it down there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to convert. I'm not gonna convert it, apparently.
Well, we'll change that language, yeah. But in any case, you have an option when you realize that you have this situation in your business where it's, okay, I've been doing this thing, I'm investing in this thing, and I'm not getting results. First of all, you could jump ship. No longer doing that thing anymore because I suck at it. And I had a conversation with one of my good friends who's a videographer. He showed me all of the hours and time and money he had spent on cold calling. And I looked at it and I looked him in the eye and I said, you suck at this. Let's find you a different lead generation method, right? So you can stop doing it, or you could just keep doing it and change nothing. That's the definition of insanity we talked about. Or you could improve your skill. So that's something that I want to leave here with you too to think about, is just because you aren't having return from something doesn't necessarily mean that it's time to jump ship with it yet. You've got to really ask yourself, do I believe that I can get better at this? How fast can I get better at this? And then how can I get better at this? So a couple of examples for how we get better at skills, because believe it or not, when we first got into real estate, we sucked at all of it, right? So of course you can get better at something, but it's just finding the right tools. So you could find a coach or a mentor to specifically work with you on that skill. You could find a workshop or a training to specifically work with you on that skill. There are also some really good programs out there. So I had an agent that I was coaching, and he loved teaching classes. Loved teaching classes. And unfortunately for him, he was one of the worst public speakers I've ever seen. And so I had to go let him do like 10 classes and him not get any results because he lacked the awareness to see you're not converting. Okay, cool. So how are we gonna get you better at this? So he went to a group called Toastmasters. Right? You get better at public speaking. I recommend Toastmasters for real estate agents, period. Because whether you're at an open house, you're teaching a class, you're at a networking event, believe it or not, we need to be charismatic and engaging, and that way people will want to interact with us. So that's just one thing you might want to think about that will make you better at this job, but there are programs like that out there that are skill specific that can help you. Okay, and so that I'm not always negative, did anybody have something super positive come from this? You looked at that and you're like, yep, gonna keep doing that. I did kicked ass at that. Anything that was really good? Referrals.
Yeah, I realized how many of them were actual referrals.
Yeah, absolutely. Devin, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was gonna say, even though I don't really like doing open houses, and I felt like I did a lot for nothing, I realized that I actually had a good return.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna share a little bit of detail, if that's okay. Okay, so Devin shared with me that she had done 10 open houses and she converted 1. But she's done 10 open houses in her career, right? In her entire career, since she started, and she converted 1 that resulted in roughly like 18K-ish commission.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. So that's a fantastic return as a brand new agent. Most people, you get 1 client out of every 10 to 15 open houses, period, and you're brand new and you're like, well, I've done 10 of them and I only got 1. Yeah, but you gotta have the right lens with yourself. That's amazing. And if you got 1 out of 10, guess what? The next rep of 10 that you get, you'll probably get 2. And now you're getting 1 of every 5. Anybody else? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and technically, I have another one under a buyer's agreement. I just don't.
Haven't closed it yet.
But,
Yeah.
Right, but still, it's a very high likely second closing from those 10.
Does anyone think Devin should keep doing open houses? Yeah, okay.
$60 an hour
What was?
to look at it that way.
Yeah. You look at the dollar per hour on it and it's like, oh, actually, yeah. Anybody else have anything really positive come out of it? We're sucking. Okay, okay. All right, cool. Okay, so I just want to kind of show you briefly like where we're headed right now and give you a visual for it. And then we're going to start to get into the workshop part and you actually start working on this. But I want you to understand what it is that we're headed to. Because has anybody here been to a business planning workshop before? Cool. Hopefully this is going to be a little different. And you're actually going to walk out of here with numbers that make sense for your business, having done some of the critical thinking and prep beforehand. So what we're going to do is you're going to take that number that you've got, the total number of houses that you need to sell. Now, some of you have done 2 sets of goals. You've done what I want to make and what I need to make. You're probably only going to have time to go fully through 1 today. I would recommend starting with what you need to make because it's the basic. And then this will be your homework for our accountability call is you can do your second business plan. And the good news is you're just going to increase everything by a little bit, but you won't be like starting from 0. But you can do either one. If you're like, screw that, I'm doing the one I want, that's great. That's perfectly fine. Do whatever motivates you. So you're going to take that total number of houses you need to sell and we're going to break it into buckets is what I'm going to call them. Some people call them pillars. Melanie called it a leg, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to have you break it into buckets. And those buckets are based off how you're getting those leads or closings. So for example, 1 bucket might be open houses, 1 bucket might be referrals, 1 bucket might be door knocking, whatever it is. Now, once we have the buckets, we're going to break those buckets down into what are the supporting activities that you are going to do on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis in order to support that goal. And I'll give you the numbers and the conversion rates that you can use for the industry so that if you're new, you can rely on those. Maybe assume that you'll be a little higher because you're new. And if you're really experienced, maybe you'll be average or you'll be a little bit better. But I'll give you the numbers for you to math that out. And at the end of this, you're going to walk away with 2 things for each bucket. You're going to walk away with, this is what I need to do on a weekly, quarterly, monthly basis. And you're going to walk away with, if I had to guess, a project list for each bucket. Because it turns out when we start planning and we say, I want to do this activity and I've never done it before, there's some shit that we've got to do to put things into place so that you can go do that thing. For example, if you were to do open houses for the first time, how are you going to do them? Is there a certain neighborhood that you're going to do? You probably need to establish relationships with some listing agents that have a lot of open houses to give. You probably need to create your sign-in sheet or your swag, whatever materials you're doing for the inside. If you're going to door knock beforehand, you want to create your door knocker so you have that template. There's all of these projects that will come as a result of that. So for each bucket, you'll walk away with 2 lists. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay, fantastic. This is the visual, if that helps anybody. Number of houses broken down into the buckets, so 5 houses here, 10 houses here, 11 houses here, whatever. And then we'll go into the activities and the projects. Okay? This is another visual representation. This is a plan that I did. I am actually actively trying to scale my business back, because if you haven't noticed, I have some other passions like teaching, coaching, leading, etc. And so I did like a quick one of, okay, what does this need to look like based off of GCI? Where are those buckets going to be? But I wanted you to just kind of see what this will look like. This looks like shit in my opinion. I don't like typed things. I like written things, but you might like typed things over written things. But I'm a write person because I think it reaffirms in your brain that you're gonna do it. Typing doesn't seem to have that same connection. But basically, you'll have your houses, you'll break down into the how. These are the specific things, the activities that you're gonna do, and then these are the projects that you need to complete. Okay, we feel good about this. Does anyone have any questions about what we're about to do? I'll guide you through it, so don't panic, but okay. Okay, so step 1, I want you guys to pull out a fresh piece of paper, and we're gonna start this. And again, you're gonna wanna kind of have it look like that representation I had, where you've got the number of houses you're gonna sell at the top and circle it. And then you'll draw a little offspring for the number of buckets that you're gonna have. And I always recommend at least 3 buckets, but it's okay for you to have 4 buckets. I just don't recommend that you go to 5. I think you're not being realistic and over leveraging yourself. Most agents, they'll do 2 really well, and they'll have 1 that adds a little bit on occasion. Okay, and these are some of the examples that you're gonna pick for your business. And I'm gonna give you like a solid 5-10 minutes here, because you might not all have this totally figured out. What buckets am I committing to? But these are a few of the lead gen activities that you might choose from. I'll go through them because I abbreviated. You've got open houses, sphere of influence, right? Which is your people's, your sphere of influence. Your past clients, OOS, out-of-state agents, so out-of-state agent referrals. Online, that's kind of a catch-all in my opinion. If you're doing online ads or someone finds you on Google or whatever, you can define it for yourself if you do something different online. Door knocking. Events is also kind of a catch-all in my opinion. The events that I put on are classes. I teach classes every month because I'm passionate about teaching. A lot of the agents that I coach consider networking events to be the events that they do, or they hold themselves to a standard of running a book club or doing like a quarterly event at their home or whatever it is. But that can be, again, a catch-all that you have different activities for. It's just events is the title. Ads, networking groups, social media, paid leads, team-generated leads. So if you are on a team and you can reliably count on 4, 6, 10, whatever leads it is, that can be a bucket for you. For sale by owner, expired listings. I tried to cover the majority of them, but go ahead and take 5 minutes, big bucket at the top of number of houses, and then just put the label on the buckets. You don't even need to figure out how many houses is going into each one yet. Just what lead gen activities do you want to commit to? All right, let's keep rocking. So now you need to commit to a house number for each bucket. So at the top you put, let's say 20 houses, and you've got 3 buckets. You need to figure out how you are dividing those up. This is where that past data is going to be really helpful for you. If 50% of your business is Sphere right now, I would count on maybe 50% of your business continuing to be Sphere. Or if you're adding in a new lead gen activity, maybe it goes down to 40% because now you're bringing in some there. I'm again going to give you like 3 minutes or so, but divide up according to your past data if you can. Yeah, so if the question was, how do we incorporate something we haven't done yet? You mean like a new bucket? Yeah. Farming. So what I'd always recommend is that you stay conservative, right? So if you're getting 5 and 5 from past clients, from Sphere, I doubt you're gonna get 5 from farming, because this is something that you already do really well. You have systems in place, hopefully. So I would say stay conservative. Maybe it's 10% of the business that year, maybe it's 20%. But I would stay low and see how it goes. I'll give you conversion rates in a bit so you can also see what's even like realistic. For example, if you're adding in open houses for the first time, it takes 10 to 15 open houses to get a closed client. We've got 12 months in a year. So if you do 10 to 15 open houses and you're only gonna do 1 a month, you're gonna get 1 closed client from that. If you're gonna do 2 a month, you could get 2 closed clients. So think about the activity that's required for that too. What's realistic? What are you willing to do? Does that help? Okay.
Really quick, are we working off the money that we need to make, or?
So I said this at the beginning.
Yeah.
So choose whichever path you're taking, either the need to make route or the want to make route, but just whatever one it is, that's the one you're doing today, and you can do the other one after.
So whatever numbers we worked on beforehand is what we need to focus on?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So whatever you walked in here today and said, I need to sell 25 houses, that's your number.
Okay, I have a question regarding on my data, because they were on, like, I got them off of social media, but they were
Did they
ultimately a referral.
find you on social media?
No,
No,
I
so
thought
they're a
so.
referral.
Got it, okay, and then they are definitely a referral. This was her second transaction, so
So
now
she's
I
a past
consider-
client.
She's a past client, but she was originally, or she's social media because I found her on social media.
Yeah, it was the Facebook groups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's social media.
All right, so social. And then she bought again, so that was.
Now she's a past client.
Past client, okay.
Yeah, it's tricky when you have people over a couple of years that transact multiple times, because the way you first got them was one category, but now when you work with them again, they're a past client. Yeah, they are now a past client because you did a good job of staying in front of them through your supporting activities underneath of your past client bucket to get them to be a past client.
So it's not the procuring cause.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the procuring cause. If you guys were looking at the last 3 years, it's what is that person as of that date? Where did you get them from? Yeah.
So that wouldn't be Sphere, that would be.
That's a past client. If a client's already worked with you before, which might be in your sphere depending on how you're doing your buckets. Some people it's the same, some people it's different.
I would say everybody knows 9 to 12 realtors.
Yeah,
I make that data, but.
at least, yeah.
But I think, they have a choice, right?
Yeah.
And if you didn't do well, they're gonna choose another friend.
Yeah,
So if they're coming back to you,
Yeah.
I would say that's a specific
I agree.
activity because they loved how you worked and they want to choose you.
Did you hear that? You
Yeah,
took it?
I
Okay,
did.
all right, I'm just making sure. Went right into the ear hole. Okay, anybody else?
You're right.
Is everybody done? Or is anybody still working, I should say? Anyone still working? No? Okay. Sweet. This is the fun part. We're gonna go one bucket at a time, okay? Do not drive yourself crazy. One bucket at a time. Or you're gonna be running me around this room with questions, okay? One bucket at a time. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna figure out from your past numbers, your past data, how much of that activity that you need to do and at what frequency. And then we'll break this down into weekly and monthly measurable activities, not feel-good things. This is actually something quantifiable that we can track. So that Know Your Numbers spreadsheet is going to help you a lot right here, because what you want to do is figure out, okay, if I'm going to do open houses and I saw that for every 4 I did, I got 1 closed client, that's what you can base that off of, right? And if you want to close 4 clients from open houses, that means you need to do 16 open houses. Are we following what you're trying to figure out here, is how much of this activity to do? Okay. Now these are some fun extra conversion rates. I've also got them on the front page of this packet. So it's right in front of you, so you don't have to break your neck looking up here. To help you, because sometimes people have questions, especially around referral, or what are the activities I'm supposed to be doing. So I'll give you a little bit of a tip here, okay? The very bottom of this lead conversion sheet, it says Sphere/database, etc. A 36 touch equals $1,000 per person. Has everyone heard that before? Or could you raise your hand if you've never heard that before? No? Okay, I'm going to explain this to you really quickly. I taught an entire class on this that I have recorded that I can send to you. This was taught by Keller Williams originally. When I was at Keller, when I first started, I took that and said, that is genius. There is data for it. I'm going to do this. And that is all I have done my entire career, is 36 touch. I don't door knock. I don't do open houses unless my client absolutely forces me to, which does not happen very often. I tend to win in that battle. I don't do any other things. I do a 36 touch, and I do it badass. And that's how I've built my entire business. So a 36 touch, basically what they say is that for every 1 person in your database that you touch 36 times, that will equal $1,000 in income. And it's not that every person in your database is going to work with you. It's that you're going to get enough referrals or enough people out of that database that that is what it translates to. So for example, if you wanted to make $100,000 off of your referral or Sphere database, you would need 100 people that you do a 36 touch with. I'm not going to do a full training right now on a 36 touch, but here's an example. I like to break things down. If we were to do a 36 touch, how many touches a month is that? 3. Well, what's something I could do every month? A newsletter. There's 12 touches. What's something else I could do every month? HomeBot. What's another thing I could do every month? Boomerang. I don't think those 3 activities are a solid 36 touch. I would do 2 of those 3 activities. So I would do HomeBot or Boomerang. I think every real estate agent should be doing a custom newsletter. I love this brokerage more than anything. I think you guys know that. And you should be doing a custom newsletter. Otherwise, your database just checks out. And it's so easy to put together. So what other supporting activities could total to that 36 touch? Well, if you do 1 something a quarter, you might have 2 touches before that something. For example, you do 1 client event in March, you send out the initial invites in January, you send an RSVP reminder in February, you have the event in March, and then you send a thank you to everybody whether they came or not, so that's your 3rd touch. Another example might be for a quarter you do a pop by. Hey, I'm coming by this 1 week. Hey, just a reminder, I'm coming by. Here's the pop by. You might do a house anniversary card once a year. My wife and I like to do a holiday card. Our database loves it. Yeah, Kendall's laughing. She knows. I just ordered our costumes last night for this next shoot. I'm pretty excited about it. She did not have a say in the matter, but she will be Cindy Lou Who, and I will be the Grinch, and our dog will be Max. So that's something that you can do, birthday cards, etc. So I'm not going to do a full training, but if you want a copy of that class, send me an email. I will send it to you. It's 2 hours. I break down every single touch I do. All these other ones should be a little easier for you to quantify, but the referral one I know is a little tougher. So I just wanted to give that to you, that if you could just do a 36 touch with your database, you're going to be rock solid. All right, I'm going to give you like another 3 minutes. So in order to get a closed referral, what it says up here is you need 2 or 3 warm introductions, which I think is pretty accurate. Right? You might have a higher SR, but not everybody ends up actually like having an appointment with you because they got referred to 2 or 3 agents from their friends. So 2 or 3 intros. So I would look at that as how commonly are you getting introductions? And then are there specific activities that you do that lead to those introductions? Here's an example. Every single time I throw a client event, I gawk over the $1,500 that I have to spend for that client event. And within 1 week, every single time, we get a referral from somebody that was there. And that's right, that's why we do these client events. And the maths, right? Make a $15,000 commission, $1,500 event, that was worth it. So, does anybody need additional clarification on referrals? Or do you feel like the 36 touch is enough for you to go with? That feels okay? Okay, let's go to the next one, out-of-state agent referrals. Okay, yes, 2 introductions from out-of-state agent referrals could equal a closed client. What I have found is how do you actually get those introductions? It's maybe you need to be reaching out and building your database of out-of-state agents, and maybe you need to talk to 20 out-of-state agents to get 1 referral. We've got, Kylie would have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I just added this the other day. I want to say we have close to like 100 to 150 out-of-state agent referral partners. And we have them on a drip campaign. We do a couple things, like we engage on social media with them. They get our newsletter. And so far, we've had 5 closed deals this year from that. So if you want to use my numbers, for every 30 agents that you're staying in regular contact with, you get 1 closed client. Open houses, 10 to 15 I think is really accurate. If you're brand new to open houses, this might be 15 to 20. If you've been doing them a while, it might be more like 6 to 10. Social media, 100 qualified conversations. This one's hard. And I'm not a social media expert, I won't pretend to be. In my opinion, to me, this means somebody reaches out, you comment back, you follow one another, and there's a relationship that continues and that becomes a qualified conversation. So for every 100 people that are interacting with you with a comment, not just a like on social or a DM or whatever, that should result in 1 closed client. That was my interpretation when I was researching. So then how do you get 100 qualified conversations, right? Is there anyone here that social media is on their plan? As a bucket or a supporting activity? A bucket? Bucket? Okay. So what you'd want to do is figure out, well, how many posts do I need to do to get a qualified conversation? Am I getting 3 qualified conversations per post? Because now I need to do 30 posts to get 100 qualified conversations to get 1 closed client. 30 posts equals 1 closed client. Did you follow? Did that make sense? So how many conversations are you getting from each one of your posts? So you guys could look on your phone right now. Oh, that's just a, hey, if you're getting 3 per social media. Yep. So dig in a little bit. If you're on social, I would just go ahead and pull up your last couple of social media posts and see. Online leads, you'd need to get 40 to 50. So how many ads do you need to run? That's the quantifying activity that you would have. Door knocking, that one's easy. For every 200 doors, you'll get 1 closed client. I know it sucks, but that's how I built my last business. I built my entire painting company over 8 years from door knocking. Man, every hour we were out, we would get 1 lead. For every 2 leads, we would get one house to paint. There's $5K in revenue every hour. It's great. Expired listings and FSBOs, you need to talk to 80 to 120 or 120 to 150 people. Is FSBOs or expireds on anybody's buckets? Thank God. Okay, moving on. Networking events. 30 to 50 real conversations. What I like about this is you need to ask yourself, how many real conversations are you having at a networking event? And are you going up and just talking to the one lender that's in the room? Or are you talking to people that are actually going to get you business? And so you'll need to ask yourself, every time I go to a networking event, I'm only having really 3 conversations. Okay, so you need to go to 10 to 15 networking events to get one closed client. Is this making sense? Okay, questions?
Just real quick, so this is like yearly, is what we're talking about.
This is per closed client.
Per close, okay.
This is how much of this activity you have to do to get one sale. Yeah, you can do it over whatever, but this is your conversion rate. For every one closed client from an open house, you need to do 10 to 15 of them. So if you want to do 5 closed clients from open houses, you're doing 50 to 65.
So your public events, this is not the events that you do for your clients. This is meetups and...
This is from the interwebs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my question, I guess, is if you want to host
Yes.
every year for...
Yeah, okay, I got you. If it's a past client event, that's part of your 36 touch.
Okay.
Right? If you're doing an event to the public, and one of the agents that I coach does this. She does like an Easter event for the public at a park. And she'll get 100 people that attend, and she usually gets a couple of deals out of that. Which makes sense because for public events, 60 to 100 contacts equals 1 closed client. So if she's getting 2, that tracks. So you're taking, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. You're taking your number right now of the houses you need to sell for each bucket one at a time and figuring out how much of that activity do you need to do, of the supporting activity for it. So if you wrote down 36 touch, by the way, you do need to do one extra step. You need to quantify how many people you need to do that to. So for example, if you were going to close 5 referral-based clients that you're doing a 36 touch with, you would multiply that 5 by your average commission. And let's say you had a $20,000 average commission, so $100,000. So 100 people is how many people you need to do the 36 touch with. Did that make sense? Okay, so if you've got 36 touch under referral, how many houses are you trying to sell from referral or Sphere or whatever? 3. What's your average commission?
11,000.
We'll say 11,000. So 3 times 11 is $33,000 is how much you want to make from that, which means you need to do a 36 touch with 33 people. Because every person is $1,000 that you do a 36 touch with. Yeah. You want me to do it again? Is that what you said? Yeah. Okay. What's your number, Ann? 6 houses. What's your average commission?
12.50.
Can you, in your calculator, do 6 times 12.50? $75,000. You need to do a 36 touch with 75 people. And it's clicking now. Anybody else need help? I know this is a little clunky, but we're talking about a bunch of different people running a bunch of different lead sources, so it's a little messy. Has everybody been able to get to an activity amount for each bucket or no? And please raise your hand if it's no, because this matters. Okay, what bucket are you having a hard time with?
So I guess it's the 36 touch, but I only need 2.
What's your average commission? And Jessica, same for you. How many houses?
10.
Times your average commission?
My average is 10,000.
Okay, so you need 100,000, so you need a 36 touch with 100 people. You're 2 times 12, 24. 36 touch with 24 people. And for my people that have less than 50 people in this, for their 36 touch, I just want to tell you, you're gonna do more than that because the effort of putting forth a 36 touch, you're gonna be like, this is stupid to do for 30 people. Guaranteed it'll be at least 100. If you've been doing business a while, it will be. But I want this to be your plan, but I just want you to know that in the back of your mind. You're not gonna put together a newsletter for 30 people. You're gonna put together a newsletter for your entire freaking database, and you're gonna send it to your entire database. but it's counting as 12 touches in your 36 touch. I email. Yeah, I use MailChimp. Anybody else stuck with any buckets? So important that you've got this down before we keep rocking. Events. What kind of events do you do or want to do?
Speaking at senior centers.
How many closed deals have you gotten from doing that? How many events did you do?
Approximately 5.
Okay.
For that conversion.
So I would choose a number, 5, or is it 6 or 7, whatever feels good to you. And so, okay, how many closed clients do you want from events? Thanks for your patience. I love math. Not everybody loves math, so this is fun. Has anyone done this before like this?
No.
Yes!
Only because I work with you.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Otherwise, no.
Yeah, and this is what drives me, not to get on my soapbox, but this is what drives me insane about the real estate business, is you go to a business planning workshop and they're like, cool, you're gonna get 4 clients from open houses, you're gonna get 2 clients from referral, go forth and be merry, and you're like, now what? Yeah, yikes. So this is the now what. So these are actually the things that you are committing to by putting these buckets on a page, by saying this is how many houses I'm going to close from this. And this might have made you rethink some of these a little bit. And that's okay. You might shift around. You might say, actually, I don't feel like doing 50 open houses this year. I don't want to do 1 a week. So I'm going to drop that number down. That's the point of doing it, is we want to make sure this is a realistic plan. Anybody else stuck on any? Or do we feel good? Is anybody needing a little more time?
I guess with mine, how are you converting? Like, what's the method? I'm like,
For referral?
yeah, like how are you I have another one that's 5. How do I convert it to how many touches I gotta do?
What's the bucket?
5 houses.
No, what's the
Vendor booths.
vendor booth? So you do vendor booth events at different things. Okay. Go to Toastmasters, first of all. And if I'm somebody that's trying to convert people from events, I think that the skill is largely the same of booths and open houses. So if you want to practice for an event, go do a couple open houses. Somebody walks in, they have interest, they're not really trying to talk to you though, right? They want to run through, do the thing for a minute, and then they want to take off. And what you've got to do is figure out how can you spark enough of a conversation with them to keep them there long enough to start building trust. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, the skill conversion is the where you go join a team or you get a business coach or you go take a class or you do whatever. And so that might be one of your projects. I want to do this thing, but I know I got to get better at it. So one of my projects might be the skill development around it. Anybody else stuck on any of them? Okay, the last thing we're going to do before we take a very quick break is a further activity breakdown. So you've got your top bucket, and we want to break this all the way down into weekly and monthly activities. So you should have just figured out, all right, did anyone have open houses as one of them? It's such an easy example to use, thank you. How many open houses did you just figure out you have to do this year? 30 to 40? 20? 12. Okay, here's what I love about a year. It's 12 months. You can divide by 12. And you can figure out how many you need to do per month. Or if you've got to do 50, and there's 52 weeks in a year, it's 1 a week. It's simple. Or if you're like, no, I'm not doing an open house every week this year, then you're going to be doing 2 on 1 weekend, right? Or 4 in a month. But 2 weekends you're doing open houses and doubling up, and 2 you're not. Or if you're only going to do 20, you might want to even be a little bit more strategic of, is it just, 2 a month? Or is it during the spring and the summer, I'm doing 3 a month, and then I'm stopping in the fall? So something to think about. But what I want you to do is break down, keep going, and you should have about 4 to 6 main activities that you're going to do under each bucket. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples to work with in a minute, but I just want you to know that. So if your bucket is open houses, there should be 4 to 6 things that you're doing consistently that you're tracking to hit that goal. And really quick, when we are setting goals, we try to use this, SMART. So I'm going to start saying this. You're going to set a SMART goal. And it's an acronym. S means specific. M is measurable. For example, I'm going to do 5 open houses. That is specific and that is measurable. A is attainable. This is the fun part. You have to gut check yourself a little bit. Am I actually going to go do 50 open houses this next year? And if you're not, don't put it down. You already know that, right? Attainable. If you're sitting there like, I know I'm not going to do this, change the plan before we keep going. Because you're going to hate yourself in like 60 days when I'm riding your ass. Like, why is this not done? You'll be like, well, because I was never committed to it. Right? R is relevant, which means that it ties to a specific financial goal. And that's what we started with. So it should all be relevant. But it drives me nuts when people are like, I want to improve my social media. Okay? Why? How? What is that going to get for you? Why is this relevant to your business, or is it just kind of like a want to do? Relevant means it ties to your specific goal. And then T is time sensitive, so by when? We're doing pretty much 2026 right now, in my mind. You might be doing it for next month, starting for the next year, whatever, but that it's time sensitive. So I'm going to do 40 open houses next year, or I'm going to do 40 open houses by the end of August. Okay, so for each 4 to 6 activities that you have, make sure that you've got these pieces there. It's got a number, it's got a by when date, and it's attainable. The activity menu is in front of you. With the assistance of my dear friend ChatGPT, we have come up with a menu. And for each type of bucket that you might have, there's 3 pages. There are some examples of what great supporting activities would be. So you're going to pick 4 to 6 for each bucket. And again, go bucket by bucket. Go bucket by bucket and pick the ones that you want to commit to. And please start raising your hands as soon as you have questions. And I'm going to put mine back up here too, so that you can see the ones that I specifically do. Because if you've got a referral bucket, if I do say so myself, I think my activities are pretty good and proven. So it's something you could copy from if you would like. So that's the sphere of influence and past clients ones. I do a 52 touch, not a 36 touch, but it's because I do HomeBot and Boomerang.
What are your strategic hangouts?
What is a strategic hangout? So, I only have a certain amount of time and energy to spend with people. And if you are not one of my close friends, like close friends, then you are what I call a strategic hangout. If I'm spending time with you, it's because it makes sense for my business. And we might be doing something that there's going to be a genuine relationship there. I'm not going to do it. But these are people that I need to spend time with for one reason or another. 1, I haven't seen you in 2 years. It's time. 2, you've got a baby. You might need to be moving in a couple of months. You just went through a bad divorce. That's a great time for me to be a support to you anyways as a friend, and let's get together. So this happens naturally now that I've been doing it so long, of just knowing when to step in with people. But when you're first starting, it's a really good way for you to get your mind around. I am going to specifically hang out with 2 people this week from my database at 2 different times or 2 groups of people that will help me get business. I've done this my entire career. The agents that I coached and they did really well, it was this activity too, 2 strategic hangouts a week. What's that? Ooh, the other one, vendor meetings. I love these too. So I've got 1 vendor meeting a week. When I coach agents, I recommend that they do 2. I'm down to 1 just because I've built out most of my things. But when I was doing 2, I would meet with 1 out-of-state agent a week. So I'd pick 1 agent in another city, get them on the phone for 15 minutes, build a relationship, put them in my spreadsheet so now I know who they are. We do a small agent spotlight on them so they get featured in our newsletter. I add them on Instagram. I start liking and commenting on their stuff and they get put into my newsletter. So that's how I stay in front of them. That's this column.
And how do you choose those agents?
How do I choose those agents? God, there is one trade secret that I will not give up, and it gets asked every time I talk about this, and that is one of them. And I am so sorry. I'll give you everything else except that. Use Google. Ask your friends. Go onto Facebook groups. Just vet people. Make sure that they're solid, right? They've got good reviews. They're doing enough production that it makes sense. You know how to find good people. And my methods won't work for you anyways. The other vendor meeting that I like to have is contractors. So I also made a list of all of the different things on a house that could possibly need to be done. And then we just started checking them off one by one. Let's find 3 of them off of Thumbtack. Let's reach out to them. Whoever we like best, I'll set up a coffee with. Now they're on our vendor sheet. Every client gets that list at closing. We do a small business spotlight of them. It gets put in the newsletter. It gets put on social. They're on a drip campaign. But we work with a lot of our contractors on their own home purchases. And that's why you don't want to use my contractors. They'll do a great job for your clients, but they're not calling you.
When you say strategic hangout, is that like, you know that I do a lot of one-on-ones? Is that a similar, like what you're referring to?
Yeah, the only thing I would say about strategic hangouts is I have had agents be like, well, I hung out with my buddy and so that was a strategic hangout. God, you have to be honest with yourself. Is that somebody that's ever going to use you or refer you? Well, I don't know. They might in the future. Have they? If not, I'm not going to count that as a strategic hangout. That's personal time.
How do you feel about the asking for business in that situation? If you don't know if they're going to refer you or
Yeah.
future, like.
I'm not going to give you great advice here because what I do goes against everything else I've ever been taught in real estate about asking for business. I don't. I build such a strong relationship with you and trust, and I'm always of value. I offer to help you all the time that I don't ask. But it just comes. That might not work for everybody. But yeah, I don't. After door knocking for 8 years, I will never again ask.
The only thing that I don't see on the supporting activities is the past clients. Are you just kind of putting them in with sphere of influence then, or am I missing it?
I put them in with Sphere,
Okay.
which it's at the end really. The Sphere database nurture and the referral SOI are probably the 2 that you would combine.
Okay.
But for past clients, it's easy. It's a 36 touch. Yeah.
One thing that's worked so well for me is past coworkers. So I don't want you to sleep on that because I kicked ass in my past jobs.
Yeah.
All my work ethic, and they trust me and like so much of my business.
Yeah.
And like I'll take all the traffic engineers that I used to work with. I'm not a traffic engineer. They talk about things I don't really get. I go to brunch with them like 3-4 times a year, and do you know how many deals I've gotten from all these different pockets of things? So I would say work that. People who know you and your work ethic.
Yeah.
I think.
They know you, like you, trust you, right? That's what we're always going for. Jason?
You've got door knocking, it's 200 doors for one deal.
Apparently,
Does that mean that they open the door, they answer the door, or that you knocked on that? Like one of the activities is to leave something behind.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. You should probably...
Do I got to knock on to for 200 people?
A lot. Yeah, because I would say like because I'll do this before my open houses and that rare event, I'm like, well, I'm going to make the most of it. Now I'm going to go talk to the neighbors and try to get a listing. So I'll do like 50 doors. And at 50 doors, I probably talk to 2 people. So I bet like 1 of every 25. So no, I bet it's more of 200 doors, but you might just want to look at that one a little further to make sure your numbers are right. Yeah. Anybody else? Does everyone have their activities down? Is anybody still working? Ish. Cool. We're going to take a 3-minute potty break, and then we will be back. Go quick if you can, because we've still got to finish up and get through homework. Okay, we're going to get into the second set of takeaways. So the first set of takeaways was what are the specific activities that you need to do in your business on a weekly, monthly, whatever basis. How was that really quickly for people? A lot and scary. Tell me more.
Well, I'm still not 100% on my pillars. Like, I want to change one that I have been doing. I have numbers to support what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then changing from something else just seems intimidating.
Yeah. So I'm hearing some fear. Ooh, and I got a validation in the back. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can anybody put words to what you're afraid of? Failure?
That you're going to kick our ass.
That I'm going to physically kick your ass. Unfortunately, the office well, they're leaving, but they did tell me I can't physically beat anybody up. And so, good news, good news. What else?
Maybe a question like, is this even doable?
Is,
For me to do 40
yeah.
to 50 open houses a year.
Yeah. Is this realistic?
Probably not, because there's going to be a number of, I don't like doing them in freezing cold weather and putting signs in frozen ground. So I do way more in summer than winter.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do 2 every single Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
6 months.
And so what's really fun with kind of the 2 of you here is it's like a committing to it, right? And it might not be that you're afraid to commit. It's that you're realizing that is this an activity I want to commit to? You're actually having to go all the way there with yourself because you're breaking it down to what am I actually going to have to do to make this happen? And that actually doesn't sound so hot. And that's totally acceptable. I think that that's amazing because any other time you did a business plan, you would have just wrote down you're going to get three clients from open houses, and then that would have been the thing. And at the end of the year, you'd been like, sweet, I didn't get any, or I got 1. Right? So this is allowing you the opportunity, there's so much freedom in this, to really get critical with yourself of your plan. And am I really going to do this? Otherwise, I might. No, I'm just kidding. Melanie's face. Anybody else have anything else come up for them, just like going through that? Pros, cons?
I think for me, it's really identifying if you want to be successful, you've got to be organized. You've got to organize and really time manage your time.
Yeah, because it's not as simple as, oh, I'm just going to go do this one thing and that's it, right? There's actually kind of a lot that you need to do and you need to juggle. And SpaghettiOs, real estate is a full-time job, it turns out. Yeah. Brian, I think you had something?
I feel like some of it's going to be adjusted as we go.
Totally. Yeah.
It's not set in stone. Some of these pieces may not, it may be too much, it may not be working out with the results that we want, and there ain't anything to change it over. But it's good to have a place to work.
A plan, yeah. Here's the fun thing I want to connect you to. Number 1, the number that you're working with, most of you, is the number that you need to hit to cover your expenses. So that need to hit needs to be what's realistic. That need to hit needs to be what you are going to go do. It's the want that you might have some wavering with. And then it might be the how that you also have some wavering with. But the commitment, if you've done this correctly, the number that you said, the 20 houses or whatever it was, that needs to be a need. That needs to be your need, because that is the thing that is going to fuel you to get your ass out of bed and go do the activities that you need to do. And if it's not, if it was just like this fluffy, this kind of sounds nice, that's not going to be enough. You won't do it. So I want you to think about that a little bit too. But then to Brian's point, adjustments. Yeah, how the heck would we make adjustments halfway through this plan? How do you know if it's working or not? What's that? How do you know if you're getting deals from the activities? Workshop number 2 is tracking. Very good. So yeah, as we start getting into the tracking and the activity tracking, there will be little nuances here that you learn. That thing didn't really work as well as I thought it was going to. This isn't feeling good. This isn't realistic. And you'll constantly be adjusting your plan, but hopefully you're not adjusting the buckets. Hopefully you're not adjusting the number of houses from the buckets. Because just in doing the last activity, you should feel pretty good about that. Like, no, I can do this or not. Yeah.
So I have a question. I don't know if I really have it in the right bucket. I just like networking/meetups. I mean, I do it anyway, but I don't do it, like, I do like groups, right? Like, I love to hike, I love to play football, I got yoga teacher certified. You know, there's some new things I can do that I haven't done, like a yoga in the park, in a really small park in our neighborhood, but for instance, like with bunko groups or pickleball, it's one of those things where it just takes time. I'm like you, I don't ask for business. And I know when people start remembering that I'm a realtor, when they start asking me, then I'm like, oh, they're thinking about me. You know what I mean? Or if I run into somebody, you know, I might not have seen them for a while, and they'll start asking me before I don't really solicit it.
Yeah.
And I put out a lot of mailers and I'll start doing more email type things and posts, but to my sphere and past clients. But I'm just kind of wondering, like, how, I don't know, it just takes time to develop relationships with people in order for them to think about, you know, when you're in a new group, like a bunker group or something. Thank you.
Kendall has a closing. We'll let it slide. Goodbye, Kendall. Yeah. Okay, so my advice here is when you are going to an event and you're meeting people out, right? Because I did this with a volleyball league, and I was in the volleyball league for like 6 months, didn't get any clients. Also, some of them were assholes. I'm like, I don't really want to keep doing this, right? But some of them are great. And I'm like, how am I actually going to turn this into business and, most importantly, relationships? And it was once I realized I needed to get them into my 36 touch. So you meet the person in the group, and it might take a couple of occurrences for you to meet them, to know each other, to like each other, to have the familiarity, and then you need to cross that boundary of just knowing each other at pickleball. And there's a few ways you can do it. You could host an event at your house for your pickleball team, and you could send out the invites by email. Fantastic. Now they're getting your newsletter. And it's once a month. That's a harmless touch. It could also be that you follow them on your business Instagram after getting to know them a couple of times. But you need to do something else to take that relationship into a way that they are seeing you as an agent regularly, and that's where you'll start to see a return, and it'll go faster. But it does absolutely take time. I see it as database building. Yeah, whether it's open houses or it's events or groups, it's just database building.
That whole taking your time is, I think, a question for me, and then knowing your numbers, because sometimes I'll have a Realtor.com lead that I purchased in 2021, and I'm listing their house in now 2025.
Yeah.
So it's like, where does that number go into with my conversion rate?
Well, there's still a Realtor.com lead, is the reality, and you're tracking it of what were my lead sources this year. And that's where they came from. It just took a long time to convert. So what I would be doing is asking myself, what were the things that I did to get that to convert? And was it a drip campaign? Was it a 36 touch? Was it a newsletter? Because that's a repeatable system that you can do for your whole database. Yeah. I know some of it, it's not all perfectly black and white, which is hard. And it's fun, makes it an art. Anything else before we talk about projects? Okay, so for each bucket, you should have your list of activities. And I know that some of you are gonna refine this after this, and that's fine. You'll come to the accountability call, rock solid, ready to go, because we're gonna put it into a group activity tracker. Yeah, woo! So in any case, the next little list that you're gonna have under each bucket is what projects do you need to get done to make these activities realistic for you. And you're probably gonna have 3 to 5 projects per bucket. I just wanna caution you that if you start getting up to 5 to 10 projects per bucket, maybe one bucket, you've got a lot of projects because it's a new activity. But if you start getting into too many projects per bucket, you're gonna do this really fun thing that realtors do. And you're gonna distract yourself with all of these activities that keep you away from actually doing the fucking thing that you need to go do. Facts. We're all pros at it. Real estate agents are particularly good at this. So the projects, come up with projects that are directly going to support your ability to go do. Not nice to have, need to have, to go do. So here are some common projects, they're up on the screen. Julie's always thinking ahead for me. So there might be a few things like you need to get some software set up. Because I don't know how you're going to do a 36 touch if you don't have a CRM with your contacts in it, fully updated and tagged.
You don't use KV Core, right?
Never have I ever.
I know. I really don't like KV Core.
Yeah. I use Follow Up Boss, and they say the best CRM is the one that you use. It's a lie. It's Follow Up Boss. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I know some people like, I think it's got a lot of tools. I just find it really overwhelming.
I hate it.
If I could dummy it down.
I looked at it once. I said, take it off my bill immediately.
And they did?
No, of course not.
Just say.
So softwares are one. Mapping out your timing is another. So this is really big for that 36 touch. You've got to plan the year. Oh yeah. Print out a blank calendar. This is what I do with my coaching clients, and they're nodding their heads. You've got January, February, March, every month, and then just write in what the touches are that you're going to do. It's a visual representation. It's very helpful. So you're probably going to do a newsletter. You might do HomeBot or Boomerang, but then you'll figure out, okay, I'm going to do an event in March. I'm sending the invites here. I'm doing the RSVPs here. I'm doing a pop by in July. I'm sending the initial, hey, I'm going to come by in this month, reminder in this month, then the actual pop by. So you'll map it out.
It's really nice to break it down that way.
Yeah.
It makes it easier.
It makes it less overwhelming.
Yeah, 36 touches. Yeah, like 24 of them are automated, right? And then the others are actually pretty easy too. Mapping out your systems. So if there's any systems that you need, I want you to think follow-up systems. That's great if you go do 10 open houses. But if you never call the people that came, why do the open house? What are your systems? So you've got your prep systems and you've got your follow-up systems. For example, if you said, I want to go do a Home Buyer 101 seminar, you probably need to make a presentation. You need to figure out when and where you're doing it. You probably need to figure out how you're going to advertise it and where and when. So figuring out your systems. And this can be a really heavy lift initially, okay? Especially when it's a new activity or you've kind of done it half-assed in the past, it can be a very heavy lift. But then once you've done it, you've got it, and you're just tweaking. Kind of like this business plan. Identifying organizations, as an example, if you want to do networking events, but you're not sure which networking group you want to be a part of. Leverage, that means people. So I want to do pop buys, but I've got 250 past clients. I couldn't possibly go drive to all of these pop buys. So I'm going to hire a part-time assistant or find an agent that's willing to do this with me or for me and get that person in place to assist. Or you realize in doing all of these activities, you need a VA or whatever it is. You need a TC so that you have more time to spend on your business and not in each file. And then there's the marketing pieces, website, presentations, etc. Sorry, I should have said this to start. The last 2 pages of this thing are just ideas for projects for your buckets.
Now, how do you feel about websites? Do you feel like you need one?
Ooh, how do I feel about websites? I feel about websites the same way I feel about newsletters. It's nice that you have a landing page with your castle, but you are a fool if you do not have your own website, in my opinion, if you are running a referral-based business.
Are you like leveraging SOI and stuff like that? Are you getting business through your website?
I am. So I've got a wonderful person named Heather. Heather is who actually introduced the videographer and I. She is a badass at SEO. As soon as I started SEO work with her, I got a screaming deal because I happened to be her real estate agent and she wanted to save money when she sold. In any case, got a screaming deal with her, and literally within 6 months, I had a $700,000, $800,000 buyer reach out and closed them. Like, right, 6 months is right away, in my opinion. Yeah. You can go look at my website, it's chelseasteen.com. It's under construction at the moment. You might see some weird branding things happen in the next week. But why I love our website, one, it's got a video of me. So anytime it's a referral, people look me up, my website pops up, they go there, they can see me interacting with a camera, which makes me feel more approachable. The second reason I love it is our blog. We do 4 blog posts a month. And what we usually blog about is the small business that we've interviewed, because they like that. And then we do a blog for every client that I have that closes. And it's fun because then they reshare it and their whole network sees it on their social, and it's just like this whole momentum thing. Okay, so again, try to get to 5-ish projects under each bucket. I'm gonna give you just a couple more minutes.
I did, starting in 2024, I did website, branding, colors, logo. So I would expand that, not just website.
Yeah. What's your brand kit?
Like, in my brand kit, how I do my marketing in Canva,
yeah.
like all that stuff, the music I use, like I think it's far more expansive, so that every time they hear that music, they know it's me. Every time they see those colors, they know it's me. It's kind of like seeing the M on McDonald's or whatever. Like
totally.
So I think it's
bigger.
But you don't do that your first year.
Exactly.
You have the money for it. But then I finally did. And I felt like I was converting more referrals because, you know, you have your sphere that sees you on social media, right?
Yeah.
But you need someplace for them to check you out before they even reach out to you. The referrals of people who don't know you.
Exactly.
So my whole business transformed after doing that.
Absolutely.
It took money, it took time, it took planning, it took oopsies, it took, you know, all sorts of stuff. But I think that's
and I agree with that.
Someone
to do it.
If that's not your jam.
Well, we did.
To help you or come up with templates. Like my templates in Canva, done by my designer, I now can boom, 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 and I can do all my stuff. But I didn't initially do the design work because that's not who I am.
Yeah, I paid somebody recently to do a total rebrand for us. So it was fonts, logos, colors, yada, yada, and a bunch of our initial social media templates, and it was like $775.
Where do you find it?
I'll send her to you, Kate. She's who did Amy Nakos. And so I hit up Amy, she sent me her, and Kate did a phenomenal job. So Kate's amazing. If you need SEO work, Heather is amazing. Neither one of them really do websites. That was something that I did myself initially and then had a team member help with. But does anyone need more time? What do you say?
Channing's awesome.
Channing? Okay, cool. Cool. Does anybody need more time? No, we feel good? Okay, cool. So just to be clear, everybody has activities that they need to go do. It's defined by a cadence. So it doesn't just say whatever. It's weekly, or it's monthly, or it's quarterly. Yeah, don't forget the time sensitive part. What's the cadence at which you're doing this thing? And then a project list. Now, who just made a mess of that piece of paper that we started with? Yeah, cool. So, step 5, which you're not going to do today. This is going to be part of your homework, because I recognize quite a few of you are going to want to tweak things, but make it pretty, right? So do your finalized things. Agree on, these are the activities I'm committing to. These are the buckets and the numbers that feel good to me. And then make it pretty. So some people might like something on Canva that you design. I am a huge believer in writing it down. It reaffirms in your brain. So, and I also like to put stuff on the board right in front of my desk so that I can see it every time I look up. It's right there. It's constant. So write it out, type it out, do whatever you need to do, but make your business plan pretty. Are we ready for the homework for our accountability call? Can't wait for the recording of this where it's just like dead ass silent. Everyone's like, and you can't see everyone's faces or they're like, okay. There's not a lot of homework. You might have had that overwhelming feeling because I recognize that coming into the session today, for some of you might have required a lot of time. If you haven't done the budgeting in a while, that probably took a while. Having to dig up the lead sources, great. Here's the beautiful part. Now you've got all that data from the last few years. Every time you do this each year, you have the spreadsheet. Use it again. Make it yours, change the years out. It'll go much faster. But I really do mean it when I said that the most amount of homework that you were going to have to do was for session 1. If your database is not together, you might have a lot of homework to do before the database one. But the homework moving on should be pretty light. And I think that this is pretty light. It's just taking what you've learned and finalizing. So the first is fine-tune your business plan so that it is 100% done. For some of you, that might mean you make 2 plans, right? You do your need and you do your want. Whatever it is that you're doing, if it's both or if it's one, finish it. Make it pretty and email it to me. If you write it out, a picture of it is fine. And I'm not going to necessarily read it, right? I might glance through a few out of curiosity, but really it's just for accountability. This needs to be done before our accountability call. Because if it's not done, you can't do the next step. And then the second piece of homework. I know the calendar workshop is not until workshop number 3, but we have to get started on it in advance. All of that project time that you just figured out, if I'm you, I'm going to define a time of how long do I think that's going to take me, each of those. I think that'll take me 30 minutes. This will take me an hour. This will take me 4 hours. And you need to put all of that into your calendar of when you're going to complete those things. It does not need to be done by the accountability call. Don't freak out. If this is your 2026 business plan, it needs to all be done before 2026. I'm seeing hesitation. Is this making sense?
So what you're asking us to put on the calendar now is not all the activities.
Correct.
Projects to get us.
Correct. Just your project list. Don't you worry about those activities yet.
Can we go to the slide about making it pretty?
Will we get these slides?
I could send it. Well, I have to be careful. God, at the beginning of the year, I had a bad apple steal one of my presentations, and now I'm really hesitant. Really hesitant. So take pictures of whatever you want. But yeah, sorry. My attorney said, stop doing that. I said, okay. Okay, does the homework make sense for everybody? So you're leaving those activities alone. You just need to really get honed in and define what they are, what you are committing to, what feels good to you for your need plan, for your want plan, and then the project lists that you need to get completed in order to be able to even start doing those activities need to get into your calendar through the end of the year.
When you say need and want, I'm going back to the number.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about. Maybe you need to sell 20 houses, but you want to sell 30.
So what do you want us to email you?
A copy of your business plan.
Which is
Either or.
Everything you just did, you guys are going to take and make it really pretty and finalize it. Yeah. And if you have 2, because you might, because it's 2 different plans, right? Like your need goal, if you're going to sell 20 houses, your bucket number is different than at 30. And therefore your activity numbers are different. So if you're going to do 2 plans, go for it. You got to pick what motivates you. I said this in our orientation call. I am personally motivated by let's go hard, let's go for the want, let's go above, because I know that my ass will land at the need or greater. I found in coaching real estate agents that that doesn't work for everybody. And some people really need to feel like they're achieving throughout and they're hitting, and that helps build confidence. So just be realistic with yourself. Brian?
I know I asked you some of these already, but I couldn't figure out how to plug in the want number in the financial business plan, the thing you gave us.
Yes.
So is there a way to make that happen, or do we need to just create a separate thing?
I would just create a whole copy of the document, and one is your want and one is your need. And the reason I say this is your expenses change. If you're going to try to sell 10 more houses a year, you're probably doing more open houses, which is more money on open houses, or you're doing more client events, or you're doing whatever, your expenses will go up a little bit too. So I would just make a whole copy of it and then increase everything accordingly.
I guess what I'm saying is it arrives at the GCI number based on what you plug in. I can figure out how to increase that GCI number. Is there a way to, like if I want to do 400K,
yeah.
can I plug in 400K and then have it spit out the number of houses and everything?
I don't remember. Let me just look at it with you after.
Okay.
But does everyone else follow? Just make a copy if you want for your second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and listen, I try to make the spreadsheets as a value add, and I realize that technology doesn't always work the same for everybody, so sorry if there's glitches, but.
I love the spreadsheet.
Okay, good.
It's really
Okay, good. Yeah, my wife tried to interrupt me, and I was like, I am knee deep in a formula. You have to get out of here. Like,
I can't do all that on my own.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for your templates.
Okay, good.
Can I ask you one quick question?
Yeah.
Is it possible, I really appreciated the spreadsheet, I just wish that I could have been more specific with others. Like I have like very specific like referral or networking groups, and I really wish I could have seen the differences between those. Is it possible that you could
Unprotect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah.
So I can just input my correct like networking.
I can give you an unprotected spreadsheet.
Thank
Yep.
you, yes.
Yep. Just shoot me an email.
Okay.
Because I have to manually go in and do it for each of you. So, yeah. I just did that because otherwise, just like on that accountability call, or orientation call, someone's already like playing around with it. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't want to
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I did that. Anything else? How do we feel about today? How did it go?
Good. Can I just confirm a quick recap of what is going to be on our business plan? We need to pick 3 pillars.
Or 4, yes.
3 or 4, yeah. How many homes need to be in each pillar?
Bucket, yep.
Pick out around 4 to 5 activities that you're going to do, and then around 5 projects after that, and then those need to be in your calendar.
Exactly.
Okay. Just wanted to.
And here is a visual representation. If you want just a quick photo of that, of what you're trying to get to. And then all you're doing from there is putting those projects into your calendar of when you're doing them. And just pro tip on calendar, I know we'll get to it later, but I don't want to leave you hanging. If something's going to take you 5 hours, it's good to know that in advance and don't just put in an hour-long calendar block. So just put in the appropriate lengths of time as well for you to actually get these things knocked out. And I know you're guessing, but make an educated guess. Don't just put in an hour. Oh, yeah, I want to train a bot. So there are, GPTs that you can train to go on and interact with people on your social media.
Oh, that's cool. You got a lot going on.
Not really. I don't know. That's what I've always done. Any other questions before we get out of here? I'm going to stick around. I'll help Brian if anybody else needs anything. Also, I've been getting really good questions as you guys have been going through the homework and stuff. Probably not surprising if you email me the night before, you might not have enough time because I might not be able to get to you. So the earlier you guys can work on stuff and send questions, the better, so that you've got time to get it done. Cool? All right. Emailing is definitely the best way. Yeah. All right. Thanks for